we're going to kick off with a panel discussion, not kick off. I blew the start. Anyway, because I wanted to get out a little joke thing that let's take a moment to reflect on the announcements. That was Chris, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, okay. It was all right. We've got to give it a crack. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Anyway, let's just start off by introducing everyone. They'll probably do a better job at introducing themselves than I will. We'll start with Jade off to the side there. Tell just a short thing about yourself, and then we'll kick off the questions.
Yeah, I'm Jane. Some of you remember me from last year. I was coming from New Zealand. This time I'm Melbourneian. So I work for INZ.
Awesome.
Sure. Okay. I've been programming for over 8 years now.
Nice. That's cool. And then James.
All right. Yeah, I'm James. iOS developer here at Mansell Group. Most recently, I've been out at Medibank, done a fair few projects, and I've been doing this whole iOS thing for about 3.5 years. So this is my first redesign. I only got to experience iOS 7 as a user.
Hi, I'm Marcello. I am an engineer at ANZ as well. I've been an Swiftish engineer.
And LLMs and all of the buzzwords around vibe coding. The redesign as well is pretty much what everyone's been chatting about.
Nice. And Marcello, without getting too much into your feelings about the design, let's just a general...
The general feel is let's talk about things that we're sure we're going to deliver.
Okay. That's fair. James, well, you gave the recap, but what, the other stuff?
Yeah, I think overall the vibe has been good. I think there is a lot of angst in the community over Apple's behavior and not shipping things and their attitude towards developers, and it seems like it's reasonably positive with an undertone of... I think there's a lot of people who are writing things off.
And Jane?
I think it's much less overwhelming than it was last year with our Apple Intelligence being thrown at every other sentence. So this time it was much less overwhelming, more down to earth, and it felt more spread out across different areas. So wasn't as focused on Vision OS and Apple Intelligence like last year. So it felt more diverse in terms of like whatever your interest is in development, you can find something new and interesting for you this year. Not really gonna go into detail about redesign. I actually haven't seen any spoilers online. I don't know. I probably was living under a rock or something. I don't know. There was new for me personally. So this whole liquid glass thingy. There is, I think time will tell how accessible that is and everything, but for now it's just, they showed something, it was like a showcase. Look what we can do. And I think only time will tell how it's going to be used in people's apps.
Nice. Last year, my favorite thing was the Severance announcement. This year I haven't yet decided on my favorite, but I'd like to hear everyone's favorite thing before we, move on. Favorites.
It was my year, my last
I know
year.
it was. That's why I thought of it then. I'm like, but it was mine too. I'm like, that's what got me pumped up the most. I haven't found that this year.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about the models, the foundation models. It should be interesting. I hope it's not going to be abused all that much, but they promise that it's safe.
James?
Yeah, famous last words. I think for me it is the design. This is the first like I was saying, the first redesign I get to kind of be actually working with, and I am really excited to get to play with it.
Marcello?
Well, I think the design was a masterpiece, was the center of the presentation, right? My opinions apart. I think I'm pleased to see how they are putting a lot of effort in making Swift a very easy and very like a language that somebody would pick up as their first language, whatever they're doing. Would be embedded devices service or even like WebAssembly or So I think they're doing a good job in Swift, and that makes me happy.
Awesome. Amy?
Yeah, so they finally got around to it is probably my favourite, being you can now read the medication information from HealthKit and also your dosage events. So what time of day you took a dose and that information as well. So hopefully going to see some of that in a few apps. Yeah,
There was a few watch improvements as well, right? Around the health and wellness fitness stuff, right? Yeah.
Haven't gotten around to looking at watch OS
I
stuff
thought
just
it'd be
yet.
your cup of tea with the app, so that's okay.
Yeah, usually it is, but a lot more focus on the LLMs and design, and then also the iOS side of HealthKit. So hopefully watch this weekend if I get a chance.
Awesome. Has anyone installed any of the betas? Anyone?
Just assume yes.
Assume yes.
I did install the iPad.
iPad. Any cautionary tales, or it's so far so good?
It's well, it's a whole new design language that they've put in, right? As you'd expect, it's pretty rough around the corners. I think maybe the macOS is a bit more stable, but iOS, iPadOS, you will find it very busy. I'm hoping if they tune the frosted effects or the reflections and make it a bit more natural to look at. Right now, it just feels like a construction piece.
James, you've installed?
Yeah, I'm installed beta 1 on all of the things I hadn't reached except for work laptops. Yeah, like I said, I haven't had any real issues around data or things being corrupted. Performance is rough, though.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of developers betas, and I'm actually also terrified to look at the apps out there compiled on the new OS versions. That very rarely looks good.
Does anyone have an app that they're looking forward to seeing adopting it? Like an app that they love the design right now of, and they're curious how they'll implement?
I think, and they were showing it off as part of the keynote, Ivory looks like hopefully we'll be getting the redesign of that because they had it in part of the keynote, but some of the screenshots from that looked really nice.
Okay, nice. Anything, Amy?
There's everything I use at work. So everyone uses Slack, everyone uses Teams, everyone uses Discord for their own personal chats. All of them are Electron apps. All of them look absolutely horrible on macOS 26. So I think that's going to be one of the big areas where there will be a noticeable difference as far as is something using standard UI components or is it something that's trying to do something else?
Marcello.
Yeah, I think Liquid Glass is, they try to emphasize a lot how it works over other components. So I think any application that has lists with different types of content underneath, I'm very curious, excited maybe not, but curious to see how it looks. Maybe applications that have banking applications.
Yeah.
Could be interesting to look at.
Someone at work today was trying to theorize why they are going for the glass thing. They said, I can't actually remember what he said, but it was like, he said that they'd release the next iPhone to be completely glass, so it was see-through. And then I'm like, that's pretty bold. That's a bold move. But then also we started talking about just glass displays, like glasses, and then even just car dashboards and stuff like that. So I'm curious, anyone got any theories at the moment?
If you're going to sort of look at what the possibilities are, I don't think looking at the chrome, so the glass, is your best idea. More look at what type of apps, what type of content are going to look the best in this design. So something that's got a lot of images, that has a lot of text that goes right to the edge of a device is probably going to look the best, and I think that's where the most accurate rumours are, where we might see this year, maybe next, sometime in the future, devices that pretty much have no bezel.
Do you think augmented reality, like there's a lot of the live translation stuff, like sort of announcements, do you think there's going to be people holding their phone and sort of any, traveling experience that you could have used the see-through phone with, or?
It's not a brand new technology though. This
Yeah,
live
but
translation has been
I
around
don't see anyone
for
walking
quite some
around
time.
holding their phone translating, right?
I think you're on the money there, because the glass is a physical material, right? And it only makes sense to exist in a physical environment, and they are putting it on over a screen. Like, there could be either a lazy shot, as in, like, let's just unify our language, our design language, and put everything together just because we're Apple and we do one thing. Or it could be them thinking 2-3 years ahead, where they have features coming up that actually interface more with the real world and make glass actually make sense for what it is, as opposed to being just refractions on calculated pixels.
Is it possible they made a mistake?
Nope, never. Apple is infallible.
It's not. It wouldn't be their mistake anyway. I
It's
kind
ours.
of no. I mean, this whole Chat GPT for translation or Claude for applications and stuff like that. It actually makes people to learn less. Like, you don't have to learn a new language if you can just translate everything that you can hear on the fly. Why would you bother? You don't need to learn how to be a better programmer and write organic code, because there is like many tools already available for you. It just feels lazy.
That's true. Were there any underwhelming announcements? Something that you maybe wanted to hear and didn't hear?
Siri.
Oh, I thought, did they promise Siri would make a comeback in a year or
They
something?
were really careful about talking about that.
Okay.
They were really careful about mentioning Siri. Rightly so. Anything they mention about Siri is going to be like really like looked into, and expectations are high enough already.
Is it Siri?
Oh, Siri.
Like, Siri pretty much is Apple Intelligence, is all of the AI stuff, so like not mentioning it by name is okay, but all of the functionality is there, all of the stuff with shortcuts, your app intents, it's all still there. And it all got a lot of improvements, even if it wasn't mentioned explicitly by name.
I think they just want to distance from Siri and its failures, that they were trying to promise a lot and didn't deliver any. So now they would want to distance away from Siri and just emphasize on other capabilities like Apple Intelligence.
Yes. I have a few things here that are just random, like notes. But does anyone use iPhone mirroring and the continuity features at the moment? I feel like on their phone now.
Like, continuity has been around since 2016, 2015, or even 14, like, yeah, it's been around for ages. Difficult to adopt and do well, because pretty much product don't care about it. But the whole idea of handing off something from a phone or a tablet across to a desktop, receiving phone calls on your Mac, all of that stuff is continuity and has been around for ages. We're just seeing it more and more and more.
I would love to use it far more than I actually can. I feel like, I would imagine it's the same situation for a lot of us. You're on work machines for the majority of the time, which aren't signed into the same Apple account, so you just don't get to use these features. I'd love to see some sort of a way to almost like bless another account as saying like, hey, I'm not signed into the same account, but you can continuity into this one. It's okay.
Temporary.
That's a security nightmare. Like,
Oh yeah, you'd want to be real careful with it, but like I said, I would like to use all the continuity features, but just
Yeah,
can't
I'm the
most of
same.
the
Where
time.
it's like I feel like I don't use it as much. That iPhone mirroring as well. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. But then it just got annoying. I got notifications all the time on my laptop. I'm just like, all right, no.
like for me, the biggest advantage of all of this continuity stuff is I'll just leave my phone in my handbag for most of the day and forget where it is. Like, it provides a cell signal and receiving calls, but those calls can come on the watch, they can come on the Mac, iPads, wherever. I don't need to know whereabout the phone is in order to have a call come in, send an SMS or anything like that. So that's the real advantage of all of this continuity stuff.
Now in the
On continuity,
Continuing the conversation.
do you think it's the reason we don't have as much continuity is Apple's uphill battle against enterprise security and a very big box to tick for any company to accept in integration on any front that is out of control of their hands? Do you think that's why it's not as infiltrated into everybody's lives?
I think that's an element of it, but the reason I didn't use it is it did too much automatically and got annoying, and I'm just like, I don't want to. I think I was on a video call or like doing a presentation, and then I'm just like, oh, now my webcam's automatically switching over, and I didn't want it to do that. I'm just like, man, I'll work it out later, and I just kept turning it off. The same with the mirroring. I started using it, the notifications came sort of, and I had to manage when it was coming up on one and when it was coming up on the other. But yeah, but I do think some sort of easier, I suppose how they did the focus mode. This, you can have different profiles for different things. That would probably be a bit like easier to understand, or like configurations. Rather than me ramble on for a while, I might do an audience poll on things to discuss. You know, is that okay, Bok? Yeah. Mentor me. So I had things about Apple games here. We can talk about AI and stuff. We mentioned Siri, like data privacy, all that sort of stuff. Describe your perfect WWDC. I wrote that down if anyone wants to chime in on that. Oh, here's one. Are there any like library authors that you're keen to sort of see start producing stuff with the new tools, with a concurrency or, you know, the AI stuff, the foundation models? That's not an audience poll. What do we want to talk about? Has anyone got any? Dan, thank you.
The sort of trend of us becoming not so much iOS devs or Apple devs, but
Five devs.
Swift devs. Swift is just, it's expanding everything.
Quick question?
Repeat the question.
Oh, yes. So the idea that we're sort of identifying as iOS devs, but it's transitioning more to Swift developers. And this goes on, actually I wanted to talk about that as well, like Swift being like a introductory language, sort of like as in people just, it's their first language to learn, you know. The question that Dan asked was, you know, are we no longer iOS devs, but are we Swift devs?
There was certainly a lot of emphasis on Swift in general as opposed to an iOS/Mac. Actually, there was even more Mac context in this WWDC than it was in the previous years, whereas it was a lot more iOS. And now with a WebAssembly even, I think it's getting more prominent. Also, they, on a couple of presentations, they bought Swift embedded as well, even though it was not a Swift embedded presentation per se. So they are really trying to dominate the market where it's like different platforms. Say for embedded, you might see a lot of Python developers. For server, we might see a lot of Rust developers. They're trying to captivate those people into using Swift as one tool that goes for it. And I think the work that they have done in this last year on make it in simple when it comes to Swift concurrency is a step in that direction, as well as in how can we lower the barrier for adoption of Swift. So, absolutely.
I think iOS is a legacy name anyway. So at the moment, apps on Apple platforms are kind of interchangeable. So you can develop the same app that would be working across all the platforms, visionOS, watchOS, iPadOS, whatever there are. So like the whole bunch of them. And if you're calling yourself iOS developers, that's not the clear reflection of reality anymore, because you're basically developing for all of those platforms most of the time at the same time. So Swift developers probably going to be more accurate to what we are doing in the past few years.
Let me throw the question back. Do you think it's just a matter of time before Swift becomes the next React Native? I think we're very close to start.
Wait till we bring Kotlin multi-platform into you.
Is it doing? Is that what we mean? Too many, like
No,
doing too much? Not.
we have plenty of frameworks that are building out of Swift at this point, right? When
Vote
is
of
it that we're going to be
confidence.
able to build Android applications as well?
Sure. Skip. Do you want to take that one, Dan?
No, because we
No.
can't hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Amy.
Just sort of back on the, what do we call ourselves? I've always used Apple Platform Developer because that sort of spans each of the different platforms. On the question, or the focus of the question around, am I going to start using Swift on the back end? For me, working in a company in a wider team, I rely on other back-end engineers to help build out the APIs and all that side of things. And for them, Swift isn't the first language that they will go to.
10 minutes.
With that, I know a lot of indie developers that are just them or a group of 2 or 3 needing to do the platforms as well as the back end. For them, going Swift on the back end is definitely the right call. So in that sense, it's really what makes sense, to use it again, what makes sense in your context.
And maybe the containerization stuff helps with that backend stuff. You know, people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We should call ourselves Swifties.
Swifties.
I know
I
a
think
lot
that
of
name's
people,
taken.
like,
We're the real ones.
It's funny following the Swift hashtag on Mastodon, and you do occasionally get Taylor Swift posts just randomly pop up.
Well, ages ago I asked ChatGPT, like for one of these things, give me the top 5 Swift news or whatever, and it was just Taylor Swift news. And I'm like, well, that didn't work. But,
oh no, it worked perfectly.
okay, well, she's doing a lot right now. It was actually quite enjoyable.
So, and is it true she's pregnant?
It's rumors right now. So just for the online audience, Taylor Swift is not pregnant. That I know of, anyway.
Keep digging.
The spotlight thing. Let's transition to that. I thought the spotlight improvements was pretty cool. Like, because I used Alfred, I think, for a while, and I was hoping to get Pete's input on that. We can chat later. But yeah, the clipboard history I think will be valuable. I'm not sure exactly how it works. It's probably, is it going to work on the phone? Is it? Is clipboard history going to work on the phone?
No.
Okay.
Not in this version.
Yeah. Well, does anyone, are they using whatever those things are called? Alfred's, what are they called? Power?
Ray.
Someone else? Power something? Power Pack. Great. If someone's using one right now, are they going to continue using it, or like, no one? You're going to stop using it, Bok?
I stopped a while ago.
Okay.
I stopped using Alfred when Spotlight came out, which was what, 2014?
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, sorry, Alfred's been dead for a long time. But there was a very interesting announcement from the people that started Workflow/Shortcuts about a month before DubDub, being them announcing their whole new, here is AI-driven Spotlight integration with your apps and all that. And I think it was probably a little bit of a jab by Apple back at them, going, well, actually, here's all of this stuff coming in the next version of macOS.
It seems to be a theme where they'll release the things that make other things obsolete. Yep. We want to get some audience questions at some point, but maybe just, rather than describe your perfect WWDC, just predictions for 6 minutes. 7. I honestly thought it finished 8 minutes ago. That's why I was kind of trying to speed it up. But maybe predictions. Can we do predictions for next year, or should we do questions, then predictions?
You're the host. What are you asking me?
Well, I'd like to, is it utilitarian? I'd like to get the audience's input, you know, what we want to see, you know.
Make a decision back.
So let's start with what you predict will happen tomorrow. No, what are you looking forward to next year? Like, describe your perfect WWDC.
I'm predicting the Swift UI video for the next year. What's new in Swift UI is going to be even more childish.
That's good.
No, that was delightful. I would love to see some more Swift data love. I would love to see Swift testing get some more things, like just rip off the point-free custom dump, please. Support for other kinds of testing I would love to see.
My top item in my wish list for maybe, 5 years now has been to not need Xcode to build an iOS app. And yeah, I mean, I want to use Xcode because I like Xcode, not because I need to. But I think also that if I'm able to predict what Apple's going to do in a year's time, Apple's not doing a right job. Like they should be thinking ahead. Like I did not think that the Swift, what is it called? The generative. The generative Swift that you can fuel your models through LLMs. I did not see that coming, and I think that's fantastic. I hope they pull out some really smart moves like that.
Okay, I'm going to take a different angle to this question, and Bok, please mute me from online, because quite simply...
I think that's an option, yeah.
Okay, fuck Trump, because DubDub is all about people actually meeting in person. It's less about the actual content itself. And what's going on over in America is pretty much just meaning people can't see their friends. So the perfect DubDub is one where people are actually able to gather in person. It's great that we're doing it here in Melbourne as well. But yeah.
Do you reckon I'll go back to that format?
No, like the 2019 and before format is long gone. That will not return because of how successful everything has been since then. We're seeing improvements with stuff like the group lab sessions. I've been up at 2 a.m. most mornings this week just to be online for them, because they're not recorded and they're actually filled with a lot of questions from other developers that the engineers will be answering. So, yeah, try to sign up for them if you can. There's definitely a lot of improvements coming, and Apple does listen to the feedback.
Nice. I was going to throw some audience questions out there, but then I realised all the microphones are up here.
Great.
That's what I just realised.
We can still, as long as you're repeating.
Has anyone got I can come up to you with this. Maybe, how do we do this?
You pick. Favourites back.
Can I steal someone's microphones? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, thank you.
Given if you're working on a commercial app, you're not kind of getting used to anything that's new announced. Most things are at least a couple of years behind. What are you most excited about using new from WWDC 23?
Ouch.
23 is optimistic, man.
Swift seems cool right now.
Looking like maybe at the jobby job we might be able to bump to iOS 17, which means we'll get the new like add observable stuff, which is, it feels almost magical, so I'm very excited to get to make use of that.
Just a reminder, the @available, #available syntax is your friend. Make good use of it. That way you can actually use all of the fun stuff. So one PR I put up today at work was introducing the new web view. So the SwiftUI web view. As you did mention on Tuesday at the pub. So yeah, that's a really good way of providing for people on the newer versions of the platform while still supporting the ones on older platforms.
I actually second what Amy just said. That's a really good way of staying on top of things, not remembering what was 2 years ago.
For me, it's less about dropping things behind, but adopting Xcode. And if they deliver on how much they are promising on increasing compilation time with Swift syntax being like precompiled and stuff, then yeah, looking forward to saving hours of the team's life.
Another question? Yeah.
So this is probably a little bit looking forward into the future a bit. When Apple has added the ability to kind of look for app intents in Spotlight and searching the menu, right? Do you see a future where the way that humans interact with apps will drastically change due to agents doing the work?
Agents doing the work, possibly, yes. And I'll give a good example. So one of the new introductions in this year's platform versions is around maps and this idea, I think they called it place marks, where you've got an identifier there that is actually pretty much a globally accepted identifier that you can then pass through your app, and say the Apple Maps can generate it into Shortcuts Spotlight that you can feed into a different app and actually still have all of that same information there available to you. It's a good example of how all of this, particularly app intents, shortcuts, is going to allow for apps to interop with each other, so send data in well-known formats between each other and have that sort of interactions there. So yeah, I think that is definitely a future to look forward to, and we are gradually getting there year after year.
I agree. Yeah, I think that a wise old man once told me, not you, no. No, it was just that, like, back in the day, everyone needed a website, right? And it was like, it became an app, and just like an app you could use, and websites people don't really care about anymore. It's definitely a situation where maybe the intents and sort of shortcuts is the way people interface with your product. So the value that you add to the customer is no longer a pretty design anymore, because they're not actually going into your app and navigating through as often, where they're just sort of saying what they want and it happens, and that's all you've got to do. So I think that's definitely in the future.
I'd say if this is the future, it's in our hands, I mean the developers, because if we are not going to be adopting this in our apps, in our products, then it's not going to go anywhere. Because if we are go into the Spotlight and do like, where do I buy coffee, for example, and your app wouldn't provide, hey, I have a place right here, then you would still be doing Googling, essentially, not actually going to the app and buying the product from your coffee place. So it's literally in our own hands if it's going to be a future or not.
It's a great note to finish on. The future's in our hands, everyone. So just put your hands together for the panel tonight. Yeah, great. All right, thank you for Amy, Marcello, James, and Jane.